Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the TreatER webinar titled World's First Clinical Trial with CDNF, Aiming for a Breakthrough in Parkinson's. My name is Henri Huttunen, and I'm the Chief Scientific Officer at Herantis Pharma, and today I will be the chairman of this webinar. The TreatER is a project funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 program, in which a consortium of European partners from both public and private sectors were brought together to conduct a first-in-man clinical trial with CDNF, also known as conserved dopamine neurotrophic factor. The TreatER project and clinical study started in 2017 and ends now at the end of 2020. The project has 11 consortium partners from 5 European countries, as shown here in this slide. The study centers for the clinical study were Karolinska University Hospital and Lund University Hospital from Sweden, and Helsinki University Hospital from Finland. The sponsors of the clinical study were Herantis Pharma from Finland for the investigational medicinal product, and Renishaw Neurosolutions from the UK for the investigational drug delivery device. Today's webinar program has a very interesting content, and I would like to thank all the presenters, panelists, and the European Parkinson's Disease Association for their contribution. First, Professor Mart Saarma from the University of Helsinki will give a historical perspective to clinical trials with neurotrophic factors in Parkinson's. Then I will give a brief introduction to CDNF, and after this, we will have the first break. And after the first break, Magnus Sjögren, the Chief Medical Officer of Herantis, and Professor Per Svenningsson, who was the principal investigator of this clinical study, will present the 12-month clinical data related to the drug. After the second break, Jim Baker from Renishaw Neurosolutions will present the clinical data on the investigational drug delivery system that was used in this study. Today, we will have 2 15-minute breaks, and because we believe there is a significant number of people with Parkinson's in the audience, the EPDA has kindly produced 2 10-minute exercise videos to help everyone in the audience to stay sharp throughout the 3-hour program. Finally, in the end, we will have a panel discussion with the expert panelists shown here. We are very happy to have all the principal investigators from each study center, a PET imaging expert, a neurosurgeon who was involved in the study, and also 2 sponsor representatives in the panel. In addition, we are very happy to welcome Dr. Alan Wone, who was the PI, the principal investigator of the GDNF phase 2 clinical study in the Bristol study, to join the panel also today. Alan has also served as a clinical advisor for the Herantis in designing the study. Before we start, a few household items and practices. Keep your microphones on mute and webcams off, and this particularly concerns the presenters and panelists while they are not speaking. If you have any questions, please write them to the chat box, and we will ask the questions at the end of each session, depending on the available time. Today we have a very large audience. Thank you all for attending. Please note that the chat box is reserved for questions only, not for general discussion. This is the only way to ask questions in this webinar, and it's important not to overwhelm this system with unnecessary comments. Without further ado, I will give the screen and microphone to our first speaker, Professor Mart Saarma, whose research group originally discovered CDNF.